My heart instantly dropped, like, holy crap, he's really trying to break into my house.
Right now, hear from a Janesville homeowner who police say caught a would-be criminal on camera. And plans to redevelop a historic block of buildings in downtown Madison are stalled. We'll hear from a restaurant owner about what happens next.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Police in Janesville say they are looking for the man in this video who's wanted for trying to break into a house on the city's east side. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter spoke with the person who was inside at the time and joins us now with how they got it all on video. Adam?
Well, Charlotte, simply put, it was a terrifying moment for this new homeowner to see someone trying to break into his house on camera. But now police say the fact that this was all caught on video could be the reason this would-be criminal is found.
The video shows it all. Someone trying to break into Brian Spigarelli's East Side house in Janesville, opening the glass door before realizing the front door was locked and walking away.
100% he would have gone in. Like the way he entered, if you've seen the video, the way he came up to the door, he instantly went for the door handle.
Spigarelli says he's only lived in this home off Wright Road for about a month. But early last Thursday, his front door camera caught this happening while he was asleep inside. When he woke up and saw what happened, he didn't know what to do.
I clicked the video, and then boom, I saw his face right away. My heart instantly dropped. Like, holy crap, he's really trying to break into my house.
Later that day, he called police, who say they're now searching for the person responsible. They say the fact the whole thing was caught on tape will help them with that search.
It's the concept of community-oriented policing. It takes the community and the police department to work jointly to be able to solve the problems that neighborhoods are facing.
Spigarelli says things like this don't usually happen in this neighborhood.
It's very quiet, very quiet.
And the thought of a potential intruder makes him worry for families nearby who have young children.
Seeing that I'm a few blocks from a school, elementary school, is, really hits home.
Police say attempted robberies like this one are more common in the summer months. And in order to protect yourself and your family, it's important to remember the basics.
Let's lock your doors, shut your blinds at night, pull your curtains.
Spigarelli says he wants everyone to see this man's face so that police find him before he finds himself in someone else's home.
If he does it here, he's probably gonna do it again somewhere else, I'm assuming.
Again, police say they're actively searching for the person responsible. We have all the details on our website, channel3000.com.
Adam Duxter reporting tonight. Adam, thank you. Turning to weather now, we have a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti.
Charlotte, we've been watching storms in Sauk County that have just flared up. The National Weather Service has now issued a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30 p.m. for the extreme southeastern portion of Sauk County, although I think the storm pretty much is out of Sauk County. The southwestern portion of Columbia County around Lodi, and then the northwestern portion of Dane County, basically from Madison on toward the north and west. That warning in effect until 6:30 p.m. for the potential for a thunderstorm that could produce strong straight-line winds to 60 miles per hour. We'll put the radar in motion. You can see that storm developing over Sauk County, and then it's going to affect the areas just north of Madison as it heads toward the southeast. There are other thunderstorms that have been developing over parts of southern Wisconsin. It's possible we could see one or two flare up, and with high winds and hail, or high winds and heavy rain being the main threats. But right now, severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 6:30 p.m. That is for the northwestern portion of Dane County and southwestern Columbia County. I'll have further details later on.
A Madison man is facing felony charges after allegedly exchanging explicit photos and messages with a 16-year-old student as a Sun Prairie Area School District employee. Our Madeline O'Neill is following this story, and she joins us live from outside the high school where Michael A. Johnson was employed as a youth advocate for the past year. Maddie?
Hi, Charlotte. The Sun Prairie Area School District is telling families in a letter tonight that an order is in place to keep Michael A. Johnson off of school property. That's been in place since the investigation into 42-year-old Johnson began late last week. Sun Prairie police tell us school district personnel discovered Johnson's alleged inappropriate behavior and called law enforcement immediately. Since the information involved a minor, police say detectives worked aggressively to investigate Johnson, executing a search warrant in his Madison home this morning. They took electronic devices, including a laptop, tablet, and phone, and are still looking through them. Police say if they have one message for parents today, it's this.
You're still the parent. Look at that cell phone every once in a while. Do a random audit of the cell phone. But check to see what's going on with your child. Be involved in what they're doing, because, you know, there's a whole range with social media that we're seeing, you know, not only with crimes like this, but with bullying.
Johnson is jailed on felony charges of using a computer to facilitate a child sex crime and sexual exploitation of a child, although police say more charges may come out of the investigation. They also say while there's no indications of more victims in this case yet, that is something they often find in similar investigations. The school district tells us Johnson was a contracted employee for the past year and had no district duties during the summer. We'll have an update on this story coming up tonight at 10.
The man accused of driving drunk and killing a Milwaukee police officer has pleaded not guilty to felony charges. 34-year-old Dante James is charged in the crash that killed Officer Koo Her last month. Investigators say James had been drinking all day and was fired from his job for being drunk at work hours before the crash. He faces more than 70 years in prison. The Wisconsin Department of Military Affairs has identified the man killed in an accident at Volk Field yesterday as 40-year-old Nicholas Jans. He was a facility maintenance specialist at the Combat Readiness Training Center. Officials say he was replacing light bulbs on a runway when he touched a live electrical source. The accident is still under review and we're waiting on autopsy results. Jans leaves behind his wife and 3 children. If you or someone you know was heavily impacted by the shooting at the Shake the Lake fireworks show, there are resources out there for you. Rose Schmidt is here now with some tips. Rose?
Yes, it can be a very scary situation for some people, and the Dane County District Attorney's Office is offering trauma response specialists to help witnesses process the situation. A local psychologist says experiencing a shooting like the one at Shake the Lake can cause someone's heart rate to get faster, affect their appetite, and cause them to have trouble sleeping because their sense of safety has been affected. Dr. Lisa Baker says most people are resilient and able to bounce back quickly, but if they're not able to get back on a normal routine, it might be time to seek professional help.
So one of the effects is on the nervous system, you know, this fight or flight response, which is quite adaptive because it keeps us safe. You know, do we run? Do we flee? What can happen, though, is our bodies can stay in that experience for days, even weeks after an event.
Dr. Baker says the trauma could be compounded for parents if they were worried, not just for their own safety, but for their children's. Also know that if your child has had active shooter drills at school, that could be where their mind goes when they hear gunshots. If this experience has affected you, know that you can call the DA's crime response team. Their number we'll put on their screen and on our website, channel3000.com.
Something very serious here you need to take seriously.
And there's help.
That's a good thing. Thank you, Rose. New at 6, Dane County is one of 4 counties that has filed an application to build a youth detention facility. Now, this comes after former Governor Scott Walker signed a bill authorizing the closure of state-run youth prisons to be replaced with smaller regional facilities. The Cap Times reports Dane County is developing designs for a $3.5 to $4.5 million project. Plans include adding space to the west side of the city-county building and using a vacant housing pod in the current detention center. A 3-judge panel has dismissed a lawsuit challenging Republican-drawn legislative maps that plaintiffs argued diluted Democratic voting power. On Friday, lawyers representing Republicans filed motions to dismiss the case after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled partisan gerrymandering cases don't belong in federal court. A Fitchburg refrigeration and kitchen appliance company is expanding. Sub-Zero Group announced they're building a new 350-square-foot facility in Fitchburg, a $70 million project that's expected to create 100 jobs over the next 3 years. Right now, they operate a manufacturing facility near the McKee and Verona Road intersection. To support the expansion, the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation has authorized up to $1 million in state income tax credits over the next 4 years. Right now, a crash on the Beltline has 3 or 4 eastbound lanes at Rimrock Road closed. You can see there are backups now in that area. This is a developing story, and we will have more details as we learn more. The developer who planned to tear down the Essen House and some of the other buildings on East Wilson Street has backed out of the project. Amanda Quintana is live with the details and what's next for Essen House. Amanda?
Yes, well, this building where Essen House is was built in 1865, making this area here a historic district. Now, when it comes to new developers coming in, that can actually make things more complicated.
Essen House will be here. We're open tonight, tomorrow night, 4th of July night. So we'll be here for as long as we know. We've been here 37 years, a few more years until we develop.
Despite the latest developer pulling his bid to turn the block where Essen House sits into an apartment complex and commercial space called the East End, longtime owner Bob Worm is confident development will happen eventually.
Oh, I'm not defeated at all. In fact, I'm more positive than ever just because the neighborhood and the city has been very positive.
Developing on this area has its challenges, including meeting the city's standards for a historic district.
This is the heart of the first settlement district, which, as the name implies, was the first permanent settlement in Madison. People came over the water and they walked up King Street and they walked up the Blair Street and they created Madison.
Stu Leviton, chair of the city's Landmarks Commission, says part of East Wilson is also a national historic district, making developing here even more complicated. Still, people have been trying for about 10 years for this latest project. It just didn't work out.
But then the design, the mass of the building, the rhythm of the solids and voids, how it affected the Germania over on Franklin Street and how it affected some of the other buildings on Blair Street. We clearly indicated that we had some concerns so that the developer...
Worm was happy with the plan.
The building's getting older, they need to be revamped.
But understands it didn't fit everybody's needs. So as he waits for a project that does, he's open to change, whether that means his popular bar is demolished or preserved.
The passion of the person doing the development, if he wants to keep some of these buildings or if he wants to demolish them and start over. So it depends upon what we can all work together with.
Levitan tells me that this neighborhood is really in need of additional housing. So when they do find a developer that can fit all those important standards in, there will be development here.
Amanda, thank you. Next at 6, a note from the Department of Transportation before your holiday road trip, plus where you can take the family to see fireworks this week. And tonight at 10, we're talking to local veterinarians about a recent FDA report that found more than a dozen dog food brands are linked to heart disease. AAA expects 49 million people to hit the road this 4th of July. Starting at noon tomorrow, the DOT is suspending construction work on most major highway projects throughout the state. In our area, that includes work on Verona Road and the I-3990 expansion south of Madison. If you're headed out of town for the holiday, state troopers are asking you to help keep the roadways safe. Drivers still need to follow reduced speed limits in construction zones, even though work is delayed. If you're looking for a place to watch Independence Day fireworks, there are quite a few in our area this week. Tomorrow night, Edgerton, Jefferson, and Watertown have shows. And on the 4th, there are almost 30 in our area. And we do have a list of times and locations on channel3000.com. A woman is asking the Sun Prairie community to help her find the person who helped give her closure after her dog was killed. Chelsea Pullman posted on a community Facebook page that she wants to thank the person who called police after hitting her dog. She says she appreciates that the person reported it so she could get her dog Nadia back and bury her. Pullman says she adopted the rescue dog with her husband after they had a miscarriage. So if you have any information, send us a message through our Channel 3000 Facebook page. Coming up, there's a severe thunderstorm warning in Dane County. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti has your first alert forecast next.
The atmosphere has been very unstable. Temperatures right now are in the upper 80s with dew point temperatures that are in the upper 60s to the middle 70s. And so as these temperatures continue to stay warm and these dew points stay around 70 degrees, the atmosphere becoming very unstable. Heat index values in the lower 90s. And we're starting to see some strong thunderstorm development. We have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect in this area here. That warning in effect until 6:30 p.m. for the northwestern portion of Dane County, the southern portion of Columbia County. So basically from about Lodi to Madison, including Waunakee, the storm possibly producing hail up to about an inch in diameter. But the main threat is probably going to be straight line winds of about 60 miles per hour as the storm kind of rains itself out. Right now, the storm should be in Lodi by about 6:22 and in Arlington by about 6:40 as it travels off toward the south and east. Now, it is showing the potential for some very localized hail. And if there is hail, it probably would track through Lodi and into the far northern portions of Dane County. But again, the main threat is going to be from straight line winds of about 60 miles per hour as this storm has kind of built itself up over Sauk County and then is tracking right along the Columbia-Dane County line in areas north of Madison. There are also other thunderstorms that have been popping up over southern Wisconsin. A couple of severe thunderstorms moved through the Milwaukee area. But you can see just how widely scattered these are. Some people are going to get heavy downpours and maybe some strong winds and a little bit of hail, and other areas probably won't see any rain at all. In fact, if you're north of the Dells, I think you're probably free of precipitation or going to stay that way for tonight. Whereas areas south of Madison could see an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm. You can see there's more concentrated areas of storms developing back in Iowa, but these should track south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. Future radar over the next couple of hours shows the strong thunderstorm threat shifting southward with time into northern Illinois around 9 o'clock. So again, the next couple of hours, possibility exists for a strong to severe thunderstorm. Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk of severe weather for tonight for that, south of Madison, and then for far southwestern Wisconsin for tomorrow. Again, the possibility for an isolated strong to severe storm developing. Some of these storms could produce locally heavy rainfall. Over the next 3 days, we could be looking at about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain over southern Wisconsin, but these amounts will be very variable. Some areas could pick up over 2 inches in heavier thunderstorms. Other areas may miss out on much of the rain. Live view from the Quebe Radio Skycam in Platteville showing some buildups of clouds there. The WISC Skycam looking off toward the west, missing that storm just off to the northwest. High today 90, the low temperature 71, and right now we're at a steamy 88 with a heat index of 92. So our forecast for tonight, expect the possibility for some isolated showers and thunderstorms this evening. Otherwise muggy with some fog overnight. Low temperature dropping to 69. Tomorrow, a day like today. Highs mid-80s. Some afternoon showers and thunderstorms popping up. So another warm and humid day. On future tracking, see how quickly the storms move out this evening. Quiet overnight with some areas of fog. Tomorrow, the storms pop up in the afternoon, but a lot of breaks in between them. They die down for tomorrow evening, and we repeat the process again as we go into the 4th of July. Possibility for some afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, highs mid-80s. Rainfall amounts through Friday, generally about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, but again, some areas could pick up more than that. 7 to 10 day forecast, a break in the heat and humidity for the weekend with high temperatures upper 70s to low 80s. Some thunderstorm chances middle of next week and another break in the heat and humidity at the end of next week.
The United States is on to the Women's World Cup final, but it wasn't easy against England today. The story's coming up in sports. The United States is into the World Cup Women's Final. The Americans defeated England 2-1 in the semifinals today, so they'll play for their second straight title Sunday in Lyon, France. A bit of a surprise is Megan Rapinoe doesn't play. She's battling a hamstring injury, but the U.S. got by. They scored in the 10th minute. Great feed to Kristen Press, who puts it in for a 1-0 USA lead. England would tie it in the 19th minute. But then in the 31st minute, what a goal. Abby Dahlkemper crosses for Alex Morgan, and on her 30th birthday, Morgan heads it in for her 6th goal of the World Cup. It's 2-1 USA. 83rd minute, England's awarded a penalty kick. Alyssa Nair stops England's captain Steph Houghton for the game saver, and the final score is USA 2, England 1, off to the championship game on Sunday.
She's incredible by the team today, and Alyssa Nair, she needs to be player of the match. Honestly, like, she saved her butts today, and honestly, like, this was such a great game for us to build on, and now we made it to the final. That's what we've been waiting on.
And one thing to keep an eye on, former Badger Rose Lavelle injured her hamstring in the 64th minute. She was walking with a limp and taken out of the game. Hopefully she'll be able to recover and be able to play in the World Cup final in 5 days. So the United States moves on to the final. They'll know their opponent tomorrow afternoon as the Netherlands faces Sweden in the other semifinal in France. The World Cup final is Sunday morning at 10 in the Stade de Lyon. The Brewers are looking for their second straight win in Cincinnati. They've just started their game with the Reds. Chase Anderson starting for the Brewers. Last night, Christian Yelich made Brewers history. He's the first player in franchise history to hit 30 homers before the All-Star break. Yelich homered in the Brewers' 8-6 win last night. He hadn't hit a homer since June 21st before last night's record-setting blast. Yelich admits he was pressing a bit to get number 30.
You know, it's a game of baseball. You got ups and downs, and yeah, you just miss a lot of them over the course of the year. So, you know, it's just one of those things where you kind of just got to try and stay level-headed and, you know, not get frustrated with it. And like you said, the most important thing is that we won.
Madison Mallards wrap up the first half with a rain-shortened 5-4 win against the Lakeshore Chinooks. The Mallards had the best record in the Northwoods League first half, going 25-11. An interesting announcement from Edgewood College today. They're adding men's and women's lacrosse to their athletic lineup. Starting in the 2020-21 academic year, Edgewood College will have men's and women's lacrosse teams that will play in Division III. Today's announcement of the new member of the UW Athletic Hall of Fame is the 7th leading scorer in Badger men's basketball history, Trent Jackson. Here's some vintage video from 1989 when Jackson, Danny Jones, and Tim Locum led the Badgers to the NIT tournament. That was the Badgers' first postseason appearance in 47 years. After his playing days, he was a director of development at the UW Foundation. He has since developed a successful apparel business, Rough Sportswear. This year, in September, Trent Jackson inducted into the UW Athletic Hall of Fame. Oh, those were the good old days. Huh? Short shorts and puffy hair.
We could bring those back.
Yeah.
We could.
We got some severe weather going on here. We have a severe thunderstorm warning. It's in effect until 6:30 for northern Dane County. We're waiting to see if the National Weather Service is going to extend this. The storm capable of producing some strong winds. In fact, I'm looking at the wind velocities north of Waunakee, so right on the Wisconsin or on the Dane-Columbia County line. Some strong winds heading toward Highway 51 in the next 5 minutes.
All right. Have a safe evening. We'll see you back here at 10.